I have a new rule for recruiting. If you make a commitment, you have to fax in your letter of intent.
You are Locked On Trojans, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Colton, and thank you for making Locked On USC your first listen every day. Whether you're watching me on YouTube or wherever you like to download your podcast, we are free. I really appreciate your support. You can show your appreciation for the show and help us grow. If you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor, become a subscriber. It's easy. You just have to hit that subscribe button. And when you hit that thumbs up, I cannot tell you how much that means. Do it. Do it often, as frequently as possible. Because I don't want you to miss an episode Monday through Friday. Hit that bell notification button. That way you're locked on with USC. So I remember how excited everyone was when USC was picking up all those verbal commitments in June. Hand over fist. What did they get? 13 of them? I mean, June was a pretty bountiful month when it came for the 2024 recruiting class for USC this year. They had, 13 public commitments. It kind of felt like a February signing day from back in the day, for those of you who are old enough to remember that. Literally, the only thing that was missing were those letter of intents being faxed on in to Heritage Hall. And then, things started to change. A few years ago, the early signing period got incorporated. And then that December early signing day, it kind of replaced that sacred February holiday that everybody who followed recruiting looked forward to. I mean, remember when that holiday, that day in February, that first Wednesday was set aside so people can take off a day from work. They could watch their favorite high school football players pick up a hat off the TV. And it was just pure enjoyment for hours and hours and hours. Well, today, there's 2 signing periods in college football? And with the December early signing period, it's kind of replaced that whole February celebration that we used to have. Now, the early signing period gets all the attention. And while that special day in February, we kind of use it now as we just turn the TV on in the background, mute the sound, and that way we don't have our workday interrupted. We just kind of look up to see if anything new has happened. You're just kind of looking at the Chiron. It's not even a full signing day special anymore in February. Well, the recruiting cycles have obviously changed over these last handful of years. And let's be honest, for all intents and purposes, most football programs, they have their recruiting classes. They're filled up by the time with that early signing day arrives with verbal commitments, right? Disagree? Make the argument, because pretty much right now, teams have maybe 2 or 3 spots they'll hold open, and those are for the guys who just for whatever reason haven't made a decision. USC held open a spot for Deuce Robinson. What was it? April, well after the signing day. I have a proposal to throw out there, since college football it's changing, right? Hear me out. Instead of making the recruit have to wait to sign their name and make it official in December or February, why not allow the recruit to make it official when they publicly commit? I mean, the recruit has made his decision, right? And I'll even add this caveat. If the commitment comes, it needs to come after the recruit has taken all of their 5 official visits, exhausted all of them. So really, if you think about it, there's no need for the recruit to think about it any longer. If they're ready to make a formal public commitment announcement, whether it's with a video at their high school, whatever the case may be. If you're ready to make a public commitment, then let's cut out the waiting game. Sign the contract, the letter of intent, fax on over. Whatever school you choose, send it on over. And again, if there is a buyer's remorse, months down the line, if the recruit's feeling, uh-oh, I made a bad decision, maybe the coaching staff changed. Whatever. I'm sure we can come up with reasons. Well, the transfer portal's already there to save the day. You already have that mulligan. Two things are going to be accomplished with my new recruiting rule change. It's a new paradigm. Number one, and I think this is probably really important. I think it teaches a lesson. That what does the word commitment mean? What does it stand for? If a 17-year-old, 16, 17, 18-year-old young man is ready to put himself through that process, being wined, dined, flown all over the country, being sold, take the time, make the decision. But when you are ready to make that commitment, be ready to stand behind it. Secondly, number two, do you know how much the coaches, I think, would enjoy this? It means, we're talking about USC. It would mean like Lincoln Riley and his staff, they can stop recruiting that player. He signed. When a coaching staff has to constantly recruit players who said they're committed, they're taking time away. They're wasting time, in my opinion, when they could be used on other recruits, other higher priorities now. They can start using that time to focus on the team that they were spending on recruiting. Again, you make a commitment, you're in. Sign the piece of paper, send it on in. You're part of the program now. Let the coaching staff now focus on that team you want to be a part of. For me, I think it's only a matter of time before the early signing period kind of loses its charm and appeal, like the one we have in February. And ironically, I think it's going to be because of the transfer portal. It's another tool that the recruits get to use. So instead of having two signing days, where one of them's already kind of dead, and I'm referring to the February one. It's just a matter of time before the December early signing period kind of loses its luster as well. Again, USC has 13 commitments that they're waiting to get a piece of paper from. How excited are you going to be in December when that piece of paper rolls around? You knew it was happening. You knew he was coming, right? The only thing that's left is disappointment if that recruit decides to change their mind at the 11 o'clock hour. That's not something you want fans tuning in for bad news. So again, instead of 2 letter of intent signing days, there could be hundreds of them throughout the year. I mean, seriously, what's wrong with receiving letter of intents in June, July, August, September, and December? I'm kind of just spitballing here to see what sticks to the wall, ceiling. Look, we were all in grade school, junior high, back in the day, and you know what? When you're bored, you could take little tiny pieces of paper, straw, a little bit of moisture. That's going to kill your boredom. So when I'm not spitballing stuff against the wall to see what sticks, this is the type of stuff I'm thinking about. So until fall camp opens, as you can see, I've been pretty bored, and I decided I need to come up with a new recruiting angle. And we're going to start teaching what the word commitment means. And at the same time, we're going to help the USC coaching staff focus their energies elsewhere. Because if so-and-so says, I'm a Trojan and I'm going to sign that letter of intent in December, no need to wait. And you know what you don't need to wait for? Heading on over to America's #1 sports book. You need to head on over to FanDuel. Because FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. And baseball season is in full swing, so there's no better place to get in on all the action than FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Go ahead, take your first swing at betting on Major League Baseball and FanDuel, and you're going to get, check this out, 10 times your first amount in bonus bets. That's up to $200. That's right. Just bet $20 and you're going to land $200 in bonus bets if you win or if you lose. That's $200 you can spend betting on everything from the money line, over, under. Check it out. Do you think Mookie Betts is going to hit the first home run of the game? Make the prop bet because you're going to do it on an app. It's super safe, super secure, and super easy to use. And the best part about FanDuel, they pay you instantly when you win. So literally, there is no better place to get in on all the action. Bet on Major League Baseball at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Sign up today with FanDuel.com/locked-on to get up to $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com/locked-on. FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. It's going to be a big week for USC recruiting. Well, if you're checking out the rundown, as you can see, it's kind of this episode's got a little bit of a recruiting angle to it. The first episode, we talked about changing the way commitments are done. Well, this segment, we're going to look at see which commitments USC could possibly expect or anticipate this week. See, even I think about the word. I got to catch myself sometimes. So we've known for a few weeks that USC was anticipating decisions from Taylor Tatum, running back, the #1 running back recruit in the country, and Kyngstonn Viliamu-Asa. Taylor Tatum, he scheduled his for July 21st, which is Friday. And then 2 days later, KVA is planning to make his intentions known. That's on Sunday. Well, we have another elite prospect who USC has been recruiting really hard. He decided to make his announcement this week. And I got to be honest with you, the timing is just a little bit more than a coincidence. 5-star wide receiver Mike Matthews from the state of Georgia. He decided in the last couple days that he's going to make his commitment on July 19th. So if you're watching this episode of Locked On USC first thing Tuesday morning, which you should be, the 19th is tomorrow, Wednesday. So you'll understand where I'm coming from with this angle. I encourage everyone to watch yesterday's episode of Locked On USC. I kind of went off on a tangent regarding the lack of teeth into Tennessee's sanctions and why USC needs to put Reggie Bush's Heisman Trophy back inside Heritage Hall where it belongs. With that said, since Tennessee found out from the NCAA committee on infractions that they aren't going to miss any bowl games, I find it highly coincidental that the wide receiver, Mike Matthews, was able to make up his mind that quickly. Maybe he had every intention to do it this week. Again, Tennessee finds out over the weekend, hey, pay a fine. Yeah, you're going to lose some scholarships over 5 years. Essentially, Tennessee got a slap on the wrist. Well, most considered that Mike Matthews it was going to come down between USC and Tennessee for his commitment. Mike Matthews can now stay home, stay closer to home, and he doesn't have to worry about any lack of exposure because, again, Tennessee, they're not going to miss any bowl games, and that means they can, make the playoffs, do all that kind of good stuff. So just preparing everyone, kind of setting the table. USC's hat will be on the table on Wednesday, the 19th, when Mike makes his announcement, but it's there for appearance only. I think everyone kind of knows or is assuming that Mike is going to choose Tennessee. Again, the timing is just too coincidental. I will be shocked if he chooses USC or Clemson. Shocked, I tell you. But I'll be here to eat a lot of crow if I'm wrong. You know where to find me. And then I mentioned the 21st. Next up is running back Taylor Tatum. Here is the argument on why he should choose USC. USC went all in. I mean, they made Taylor Tatum priority 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B as far as who they want in their class at running back. I mean, even the local stud from Mater Dei, Nathaniel Frazier, he even admitted in his own words recently. He said he knows who USC wants. He gets it. So, this strategy worked with the 2023 cycle. USC put all their eggs in one basket at linebacker. They went after Taka Curtis. It worked. Will that same loyalty and approach work with Taylor Tatum, or is USC going to start off the week 0-2 with it? You kind of knew, you kind of have to anticipate, because USC wasn't, I don't think they were anticipating Mike Matthews making an announcement this week. And I haven't seen any bat signals go up, any Trojan victory emojis on the football account. The Twitter account, I should say, for anybody's on. What account are you talking about? So, I don't know if it's going to work or if SC is going to end up going 0-2. Here's what USC recruiting fans need to kind of digest. Yes, I just made the argument for if you make a commitment, sign your letter of intent. On that same note, because that rule is not in effect right now, these guys can still change their mind and send in a letter of intent in December or February. Excuse me. What I'm getting at is both of those players in this class are a luxury and a want more than an actual need. USC's wide receiver room is stocked. It's deep. It's got a lot of youth. And let's be honest, Lincoln Riley is not going to have any problems using the transfer portal to get a wide receiver if he needs one or two. Jordan Addison leaves, Dorian Singer steps in. I mean, that's how easy it was. So again, yeah, USC would love to have both of those guys make a commitment. More so because you don't want to end up the bridesmaid twice in the same week, especially on Friday when Taylor Tatum makes his announcement, because USC will be at Pac12 Media Day. So being a bridesmaid twice, it's not a good look. And then that leaves Kyngstonn, Viliamu-Asa. Sunday is his day. Now, according to one source, KVA, he's not going to let anybody know what his choice is going to be until he's ready to announce it. And according to that same source, he's still undecided. Now, I disagree. I think Kyngstonn knows where he's going because, let's be honest, what's going to change between today and Sunday? What couldn't Lincoln Riley, Marcus Freeman, Notre Dame's head coach, or Ryan Day, Ohio State's head coach, what could they possibly say between today and Sunday in a phone call that Kyngstonn hasn't already heard? So here I am. I'm gonna go with my gut right now, and I'm gonna say USC gets the commitment from Kyngstonn. How's that? It's not going to be a total bit. It won't be a complete bad week for USC. They're just going to have to wait for the good news. And what do they say? Good things come to those who wait, right? Absolutely. Right, look, if you bat 300 in baseball, I mean, you're considered pretty darn good. Funny though, only getting 1 out of 3 in recruiting, it's kind of looked at a little differently. How weird is that? 2 sports, 2 different ways of looking at things. 1 for 3 in football, not so good. You go 1 for 3 in baseball, you might be on your way to a Hall of Fame career. All right, so we're going to talk about the AD, the athletic department, the athletic director, the search, and the requirements. Now, as I mentioned before, I'm also part of the WeAreSC.com's Inside the Trojan Huddle weekly panel podcast show. That'll be available on Tuesday as well. And one of the topics was the athletic director, the search. I encourage my viewers and listeners, when you're done watching and listening to this episode, head on over to WeAreSC.com. The host of Inside the Trojan Huddle, Greg Katz, in his weekly article, he went to bat and suggested Dave Baker to be at least to be interviewed for USC's next athletic director. I disagree wholeheartedly. I mean, 100% disagree. And I'm going to throw it out there because age does matter. And that's only part of it. It's a big part of it, but it's only part of it. I don't think USC needs a Band-Aid for the next few years. Look, hiring an athletic director who is 70, maybe 70 plus, I don't know his exact age. I speak very bluntly. Don't take this as being offended. When you get to be 70, you're in your highlight years. Okay, you don't have as much time left. And I'm just going to say, when you watch Inside the Trojan Huddle show, we had quite a lively discussion, Greg and I. We didn't see the situation quite the same. And I think Dave Baker is an interesting candidate. You know, he's the father of USC offensive lineman Sam Baker, Atlanta Falcon in the NFL. Dave, I believe, is the Arena League football commissioner. And most recently, he retired as the NFL Hall of Fame president. But he's never been an athletic director before. And that's my main point. That's the biggest part of it. I've met Dave on a few occasions throughout the years. Nothing formal. Hello, handshakes, with a few minutes of conversation here and there. Just shooting the BS type of stuff. And Dave is a very smart, highly intelligent individual, sharp as a tack, and I'm sure he has some really good ideas. But I'm going to say it again. He's never been an athletic director before. And when USC has gone down that road in the past, hiring guys without any type of experience as an athletic director, things don't always end well. Look, Mike Bone and Brandon Sosna, they brought in Lincoln Riley. They also helped usher in USC to a new era, going to the big conference. Mike Bone had tons of experience as an athletic director. Yeah, he's a former athlete, but he worked his way up the totem pole. I mean, he athletic director, Colorado, Kansas, Cincinnati, USC. See where I'm going with this? Well, people say, well, you know, Mike Garrett had some good luck with Pete Carroll. Yes, he did. He had some good luck. We all know how the Mike Garrett era ended. He was in that position for a while. He learned how to be an athletic director on the job. I don't think you're going to get a lot of support for the way he handled things at the end. I loved his fiery attitude. I loved the way he thought everybody was jealous of USC. But again, it was that comment that got him in trouble. And it didn't ingratiate USC with the NCAA when it was time to go to battle. We know what happened with Pat Hayden and Lynn Swann, right? Two more smart guys in the business world, no experience as an athletic director. So history is on my side. If Dave Baker is not going to get the job, let's not waste the time giving him a courtesy interview, because that's essentially what it becomes. And yes, I did say age is a factor. Like I said, I'm sure Mr. Baker is sharp as a tack and has some great ideas. But as we get older, myself included, stamina, energy, it becomes an issue. Being the athletic director at USC requires some long days, lots of energy, meetings, phone calls, traveling, dealing with a whole bunch of different personalities. That's a whole nother issue right there. So with USC getting ready to make this move to the big conference, there's just so much on the line right now. If I'm on that search committee, I need someone who is a current athletic director or who is looking to become an athletic director because they're an associate athletic director somewhere else. They're ready to take that next step. I kind of like the way USC is approaching this right now. They kind of used the cone of silence again. Last time that was busted out, Lincoln Riley showed up. This time, let's make another athletic director appear out of that cone of silence. And it's based on merit. Somebody who deserves to have the position. Again, I'm sure Dave Baker would make a great consultant, but USC needs somebody with experience. And I understand where Greg Katz is coming from, but I am not going to bend on this issue. I am not flexible whatsoever. Age is an issue. In 3 years, do we want to go through this process all over again? Again, this job requires a lot of energy, long days, long weeks. So I'm sure that's going to rub some people the wrong way. Sorry. I'm here to give you an opinion, and I'm going to stand behind it. So that's why you keep watching Locked on USC. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'll be back with another episode tomorrow because we come at you 5 times a week. I'm sure I'm going to have something new to update you about. We're getting closer to Pac12 Media Day, which is Friday. Hey, maybe I'll have a practice schedule. That's something else that the local media is waiting for. I'll be able to bust out when fall camp actually starts. So until then, keep coming back to Locked on USC, and you know what to do.